Greetings. Shawn Thomas here with Ask a Millionaire. Going to go ahead and do today's, we call these mentor sessions in my company accelerators organization, which is the process of me answering these questions here and then putting them up on YouTube. I actually do this for my company accelerators organization. And we call these actually like mentor sessions. That's kind of the term we use. It's basically where people will submit questions, just like the questions that I'm going to answer today. Our members, our entrepreneurs that are getting mentored, they submit questions in the AO portal, Accelerators Organization portal. And then I answer the questions, and then based on the question, I'll also forward those questions over to other mentors that might have more experience or more experience sharing or advice to offer to the actual members. And then all throughout the month, the different mentors are doing mentor sessions like this. And every time a mentor answers a member's question, they'll get an email. The member will get an email with the answer. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of like having your own little board of advisors, your own little board of directors to get feedback on the things that you're going through when running your business. I say this a lot of times on my Instagram live streams that no one person, myself included, knows everything. Even though I know a lot about a lot, there's some things I'm really, really great at, and some things I know enough to be dangerous about, but I also would call somebody else for advice or feedback as well. I have my own coaches and my own mentors. This is really important, especially if you're trying to run a business. And it's also important if you're trying to find financial success in life, because we want to try and avoid as many mistakes as we can. We want to get, it's like if you know where you want to go to eat, you've never been there, but you know the address, so you know the destination. You want to go into Google Maps and type in the address and say, give me the shortest route, right? So that's what a mentor, that's what a coach is. By developing relationships with your mentors and coaches and advisors and consultants and what have you, they can be your GPS guide to help you get to your destination faster. The whole key that I find, especially on Instagram, is that a lot of people don't even have a first destination. It's like they're hungry, they want to make a lot of money, but they don't really have a destination that they're shooting for. And what I mean by a destination in that is that I want to have $1 million in my bank account by the time I'm 30 or by the time I'm 40. Okay, great. There's the destination. Then you have to reverse engineer it. Well, how old are you right now? What kind of job or jobs do you have right now? What kind of skills do you possess? So these are all the things that go into reaching the goal that you're setting for yourself. And then once you actually get to the other side of reaching your goal, you then start to realize that it was the journey of getting there that was what was making you a success. That's what the fun part is. So anyways, I kind of digress there. But you're just like, Shawn, would you just answer the questions? But just want to give you a little bit of feedback there. Okay, so some of these questions, people wrote really, really long explanations. A lot of people from other countries in here getting these questions answered. And so I'm going to do my best to tell you what I would do if I was in your situation. But the more that you will continue to ask questions and get really clear and concise on exactly what your question is, just give me enough information of why you're answering the question, what you're about. That's going to really help me be able to give you better feedback, advice, experience sharing, whatever it might be, okay? So let's get this thing started. The first question comes from Shahid, and Shahid says, is investing a couple $100,000 into college apartments in order to create passive income a good idea? And if so, I would be very interested in your advice on that. Or is there a better way? The background is, good evening, Shawn. Firstly, my name is Shahid. I'm 25 years old, and I will be going back to school soon to get an education in optometry. Next off, I would like to start this off by saying thank you so much for doing this. I'm trying to change my life for the better and have almost everything I need to start. I'm currently living at home, not paying rent, just the bills I've got like car insurance and my phone bill and gas and whatnot. I'm currently working in an optometrist office making $12 per hour part-time as a technician. I've got the money that will be coming in at $300,000 or more within the next month or two from the stock market. I just need some solid advice on the best way to go about growing that, and at the advice of my friend who's also heavily invested, was thinking about investing in college apartments in the city of Boca Raton, Florida, that I live in order to bring in passive income for myself and build my wealth. I'm trying to think how best to do that, or if that approach would be a good idea. Okay, so it's not really, first off, thanks for the question. It's not really my place as a mentor or whatever to tell you what is a good idea or not, because that's very subjective. So instead of asking me or anybody else whether they think it's a good idea, you might want to say, rephrase your question to, here is my idea. What are the pros and cons of doing this? If I'm going to go forward with this idea, what are some things I should take into consideration? Good, bad, ugly, whatever it might be. Because if you ask somebody if it's a good idea or not, that doesn't mean they're going to be right. They're just going to be giving you an opinion, right? Because there's no fact around what's a good idea or not. Because think about it, somebody built a business selling a rock and made millions and millions of dollars. Just a rock. It was called a pet rock. Like Google it, pet rock. And people paid for a freaking pet rock, and the person made millions and millions of dollars. If he went to somebody and said, hey, I've got this idea to sell a pet rock, what do you think? I'll bet 99 out of 100 people would go, why would somebody buy a pet rock when they could just walk outside and have a rock, right? But the person did it anyways and made millions of dollars. It's like I was watching the Shark Tank episode, and these guys were selling a potato. And on the potato, they would put a message. I can't remember if it was a sticky note or a message or whatever. And people would buy a potato to send a message to people, and they were making a lot of money. It was hilarious. It was like a marketing thing. So you never know whether or not you have a good idea until you just start doing it. So you want to know, well, what would be some things that I could do to better my chances of succeeding and reduce my chances of failure if I'm going to do this? So to answer your question about, do I think that buying college apartments is a good way to make passive income? So let's first off kind of talk about that, because buying college apartments and renting them out is not passive income. And let me explain why. If you buy a college apartment and then you have to put ads out to try to get tenants, that's work, right? You then, when something breaks down, you have to go fix it as a landlord, that's work. So that's why it's not passive income. Now, it may not require a lot of work depending on the apartments and depending on the tenants you get, but there's still work involved in order for you to get paid. That makes it not passive income. That's business income. That's earned income, okay? So a passive income would be, I take my money and I put it in an investment, I do absolutely nothing, and I get paid an interest or a dividend or something like that, but I don't have to do any work. Some people say I can buy college apartments and then hire a property manager, then it could be passive income to me. But then what I found in my experience is if you go that route, you're gonna really, really tap into the amount of income that you could get from the property because you're paying someone to manage it for you. If this is a first investment, I would recommend, if it were me, and I was buying college apartments, which can make money. I also have had some friends lose millions of dollars because they bought too high, they couldn't rent them out, things kept breaking down, and it became a pain in the butt, and then they ended up having to sell it at a loss, and they lost millions of dollars. I have a friend I can think of right off the top of my head, a guy who did this. But I also have another friend here in Nashville, Tennessee, and he owns about 30 or 40 single-family homes, duplex, and multi-unit, like fourplexes, right near the college campus. He does all the work himself from a property management perspective. He does everything, but he makes really, really, really good money. Really strong return on his investment. So to answer your question, yes, it can be a good idea. Yes, you can lose all your money or a big portion of it. Yes, it could be passive income if you hire someone to do all the work for you. You're still going to have to make decisions as the owner at some point with some of the decisions that will be made by the property management company, and then sometimes they're going to have to come to you and ask you what you want to do. $300,000 sounds like you might have to leverage that $300,000 to buy something down there. I don't think you can buy college apartments for $300,000 in Boca Raton, Florida. So you're probably thinking, I'll invest my $300,000, take a mortgage for the rest. Well, every time you take a mortgage like that, you're increasing your risk, because now you have to make sure you get enough cash flow from the rents that are going to come in order to turn a profit. I would, if it were me, Shahid, and this was my first time doing it, I would probably try to find a real estate partner. I would try to find somebody who is already doing this, and I would see if you can become partners. And the reason why is they're already doing it. They know the business inside and out. This is what they do for a living. That's the kind of partner I would want. And I would say, I want to get involved in some of the deals that you're doing. The reason I would want to do that is if I want to long-term get into the real estate game for wealth building, then I want to learn that business. And there's no better way to learn that business than to learn the business from somebody who's already doing it, somebody who's been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years. They can kind of become not only your partner, but become a mentor and coach to you to transfer all of the knowledge that they have in that business to you over time, which is very valuable to you to protect your investment and hopefully minimize your risks. That's what I would do. Congratulations on making $300,000 in the marketplace. That's awesome. I don't know what you started with, but that's great. Okay, next question comes from Nicola. And Nicola says, do I invest 5,000 pounds in the Sell What You Know course? The background is, hi Shawn, thank you for your time, much appreciated. I qualified as a hypnotherapist 6 years ago, joined a clinic who provided the clients, and then decided to go on my own. At this time, I also met a new partner. He works for himself, so I helped him build his business from $150,000 turnover to $1.1 million turnover in 4 years, groundworks and construction. While seeing only a couple of hypno clients a week due to the lack of marketing, it's now time to build my own business, so I have been looking to package up an offer to sell online and move away from selling one-to-one sessions at $85 per session to a package offer of $1,500 per client, focusing on weight loss. I have been looking for a company to help me create the offer, marketing material, and presentation to attract clients, and have had a few calls with various marketing companies. I spoke with a lovely lady at Sell What You Know. They offer a package at $5,000 to help build the offer, the advertisements and email system, etc., via a mix of online, course, and live support. The lady I spoke with actually became a client of mine and said the hypnotherapy work I did with her changed her life and would easily value it at $1,500 with a few added extras as opposed to $140, which is what she paid. I want to generate enough clients to build a team of therapists and work on the business, not in the business. Although I will still see clients, I love helping people change their lives. I went through bankruptcy last year, so I need to build up my finances and don't want to invest $5,000 in the wrong product. My current website is X. Without any marketing, I'm seeing just 1 or 2 clients a week at $85 per session, which is not where I would want to be. I would really appreciate your help. Thanks, Nicola. Okay, so Nicola, I'm not really familiar with the Sell What You Know course, so I can't tell you whether or not it's a good investment or not. I can tell you that $5,000 is not off the wall as far as what somebody would pay to get one-on-one coaching for a turnkey type of package. I've seen it range from a few $1,000s up to $50,000. I would really need to see what the person is offering and do a little research to really know whether or not I could give it, a better opinion, a yes or no. But I think it's a great idea to get some coaching. But let me say this. Thinking about how I can say this because I meet a lot of individual coaches like yourself, and as somebody who built kind of a coaching organization, accelerators organization, and I used Instagram in order to find clients, and I know how much work it takes on an ongoing basis. I know what kind of technologies are involved. I know a lot about all of this stuff, and I've hired lots of coaches, and I've read lots of articles and all those things. I can tell you that I don't know if you're quite ready to hire someone to help you with advertising and marketing yet. It still sounds a little bit like you've got to get what's called your brand strategy done. Like, I understand what you do. You provide therapy for clients in order to reach a certain outcome. So that's great. I would want to know what the vision is for your company. Like, where are you taking this thing? What's the vision of the company? You know, how are you going to provide your services? What platforms? And then what's going to make you unique over all the other different therapists and online telemedicine type of resources that are out there? What makes your brand really stand out and really makes it unique? The online coaching world is vast. It's growing. And it's becoming more and more competitive. And there is kind of a strategy around how do you substantiate that you are credible? How do you substantiate that you are an expert that can help somebody? How do you substantiate that you're different and what makes you different and why somebody's going to trust you? There's a lot of different things that you can do. And I'm hoping that this coach might be able to help you with that. But there's a lot of less expensive options out there in the form of articles and kind of free courses. I would venture to say that, I don't know if you have LinkedIn over there where you live, but LinkedIn Premium has thousands and thousands of courses included, and it's like $500 a year. I might look to go through some online training courses before I would hire a $5,000 coach. It really just, because remember, if you're going to be paying the $5,000 to this person for their knowledge, which is great, but then you're still going to have to spend the money on advertising and marketing, which is going to be in addition to the $5,000. So if you're already worried about spending $5,000, you're going to be potentially having to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more. And generally speaking, you're going to need an agency to help you with that too, because it's very complex to do online advertising these days. You not only have to have the right ad, which is going to be either a video or an image, you're going to have the right copy for the ad. You're then going to have, when someone clicks on your ad and it takes them to a web page, you're going to have that web page be a compelling, what's called video sales letter page, which there is a strategy around that. So you're going to need a expert copywriter. You're going to need great graphic design and artistry on it. And then you're going to need great call to actions as well. And then you're going to want to watch and analyze the data of all of that to know how much traffic you're sending to it, what the conversions are, how much you spent versus how much money you brought in. It's very, very complex. I know this because I do it myself. I have agencies that help me. So I'd be less concerned about the $5,000 you'd spend with this coach. And I would like to see you do a little bit more homework and get time and attention around everything that's going to be involved in being able to start marketing yourself. It's very expensive, time-consuming, and complex. And generally speaking, we do say it's best to hire agencies to help you with this stuff. And you can do it in phases. Like, you can do your branding and all that stuff first, and that might cost you X amount of dollars. Then once you get all that done, then you'd start working with a funnel expert, and the funnel expert would help you put together all of your video sales letters and upsells and all those types of things that are needed. Then after all of it's ready, then you hire an online advertising agency, which is usually a separate type of company, because they're just going to do the media buying for you, which is kind of the easy part, believe it or not. Because Facebook and Instagram have made it so easy to know how to buy ads and create campaigns and to create target markets and audiences and stuff. The media buying is actually the easy part. Knowing how to split test all the ads, put together the sales pages, the copywriting, all that stuff, that's actually the really complex part. I know this is probably a lot more information that you're asking for, but I want you to know these things going in before you just hire a $5,000 coach. They do a good job at what they do, and then you don't get a lot of results and you wonder why you're not getting results. So that's why I would need to see who this Sell What You Know course is all about. So all the stuff that I'm talking about with you is very similar to a lot of the information and knowledge sharing that we share in Accelerators Organization, my mentorship group. So one of the mentors in my group owns an internet marketing agency. And so they do the media buying for me for Accelerators Organization for Google AdWords and search engine optimization. They also know how to buy ads for social media, but I have a completely other person that I'm working with to build out all my video sales letters and all of my ads for that type of stuff. And so we share that information and answer those questions within Accelerators Organization as well. So you might want to check out my Accelerators Organization company, because we might be able to get you a lot of information that can help you before you start hiring some coaches to do these things, so you can be better prepared. So I hope that helps. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think more and more people need hypnotherapy, NLP. There's a lot of things that people need in order to have breakthroughs in their life, whether it's weight loss, being happier, overcoming stresses, anxiety, past experiences, relationships. I think more and more people need that. I think there's a big market out there for it. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Okay. The next question comes from Jerome, and Jerome says, "Hey, Shawn, how do I get started as a graphic and web designer who hopes to expand to CGI and 3D animation? Thank you." The background is I'm in the process of launching a YouTube channel called Special Feature Television and a podcast titled The Special Feature Podcast. And I'm doing my own graphics. I also help design graphics for my mother's business, where she and her friend created custom cups, masks, etc. Okay, so how do you get started as a graphic and web designer? So first off, I would get involved in actually, I'll just tell you the guy that I would follow. If I was going to be a graphic designer, there's one guy that has become kind of known as the man out there. His name is Future, Futur. His name is Chris Do, D-O. And I don't know if Do is like his real last name, but his name is Chris Do, D-O. He goes by Future, Futur. If you Google him, Instagram him, you will find him. And I would start digging into everything that he does. He can teach you, get you all the resources that you need and trainings that you need to be a great graphic designer and a web designer. You're going to want to understand brand strategy and all those things as a graphic designer. It'll help you become a better graphic designer, web designer. That's where I would go. I'm not going to try to give you any more resources because I followed this guy. I love watching his stuff. I am a closet creative director type of person myself. Even though I don't know how to design, I know what makes good design and why and all those things. But he knows how to do it. I don't know how to do it. So I would go follow Chris Do, the Future, or just Future, and find him. Okay. So what you just experienced there, for anyone watching this, one of the great things about mentors is we have a pretty elaborate network of people, and we do a lot of research, and we know a lot of people out there. And so what you just saw with me giving a recommendation to Jerome is, if I just went onto Google and I said, how do I be a good graphic designer? I would get Adobe and all these different programs trying to sell me how to become a designer and maybe some things, but he may have never even found Chris Do or Future, right? By joining networks and getting involved with people that have access to networks, you can start finding out who would be the right people. And that's where conversations really help as opposed to just trying to do a Google search. I always say this, you don't know what you don't know. And that's why the do-it-yourselfer doesn't get ahead faster than somebody who asks for help and develops relationship with mentors. Okay? Food for thought. Okay, the next question comes from Jobin. What are my first steps in getting started towards becoming a first-generation millionaire? Hi, Shawn. This is Jobin from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm 30 years old and have committed to becoming a first-generation millionaire. I have begun to write and map out a vision for myself in each of those life areas you mentioned in one of your videos to get clear on what success means to me. However, I'm having trouble laying out a plan to get started and gaining momentum and achieving that vision. Awesome. Jobin, great job, man. I love that you referenced the different areas I talked about, that you're really mapping out a vision for what you want. You know that you want to become a first-generation millionaire. So let's talk about that. What is a millionaire? So remember, a millionaire is simply somebody whose net worth equals $1 million. That means whatever assets you have, minus whatever liabilities you have $1 million in net worth. And usually you're going to be a millionaire on paper. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have $1 million in the bank. But what it does mean is that if you sold everything, paid off everything, you would then literally have $1 million in your bank account. Okay, so that's kind of what a millionaire is. The fastest way to become a millionaire is a couple of things. One is to really start figuring out how you can earn the most money. Now, there's a couple ways to earn more money. One way is to make more money per hour, and then the other way is to work more hours. And it's going to be a combination of both of those. Anybody who's going to be a first-generation millionaire, they're going to start out by working more in order to make more. And then during that part of that first phase of the journey, we're going to want to start seeing, what are we good at? Like, what kind of skills inherently, what are our strengths as an individual, so that I can figure out what occupation I should have and could have in order to make the most money possible for the hours that I'm going to be working. Then, as you're making money, we really want to get good at not spending the money. Most people get really good at spending the money they make because, hey, I got money, I got to spend it. It burns a hole in their pocket. There's a guy on Instagram I would recommend that you follow. His name is Dave Ramsey, Ramsey. He's all about living a debt-free lifestyle and increasing your net worth. And I believe it would be really good for you to watch him as you start to try to save money, make money, invest money, be debt-free, and become a first-generation millionaire. So those are the steps that you would take. How can you make the most money per hour, and how many more hours can you work? So I'm working with a guy named Demarius, and I'm mentoring him in my Accelerators organization mentorship group. And he doesn't own a business, but he wanted my personal mentorship. And I said, okay, go ahead and join AO. It's $100 a month, and I'll work with you. And I keep giving him tests. And I'm like, okay, when I first met him last November, I said, how much money do you have in the bank account? He said, $800. I said, okay, by June 1st, I want you to have $10,000 in your checking account. I don't care how you do it, but right now you have a full-time job, right? Yes, cool. You're surviving off your full-time job? Yes, okay, cool. Go work an extra 20, 30 hours a week. If you work an extra 20, 30 hours a week, save all of that money. By June 1st, you're going to have $10,000. Have you ever had $10,000? He said no. And I said, cool. Let's get you to $10,000 first. It's going to take time. However many more hours you work, that you're going to get there faster. June 1st of 2021, he had $10,000 in his checking account. So I'm like, cool. Now let's get to $25,000 by the end of 2021. So I started helping him figure out how to, now that he has more capital and he's buying and selling cell phones on the side, I said, now you have more money to buy more phones to be able to flip them more, and you're going to make money a lot faster, right? He's like, yes. I'm like, cool. Let's get you $25,000 by the end of the year. Simultaneously, I'm helping him by introducing him to some people that I know, because he makes $36,000 or $38,000 a year at his full-time job. I went out there and I'm helping him get a full-time job that he should make $75,000 to $80,000 a year. So I'm going to help him double his earned income with the same hours that he works at a full-time job. So I'm going to help him with that because he's proven that he'll work hard, he'll develop skills, and I had a good opportunity that I could put him in touch with. And so he's going to actually move to go take this job, but he's going to double his income. And that's how we start becoming a first-generation millionaire, is we just keep taking these progressive steps that increase how much money we make so we can increase how much money we save. I am guessing that if he really does a great job and does everything that we teach him, within 6 years, 5 to 6 years, realistically, Demarius should be a millionaire and be the first millionaire in his family. It just takes time. It took me a long time. But if I would have had mentorship, I would have got there a lot faster. So I'm gonna get Demarius there a lot faster because he's got me and all the other mentors in our group, and we're gonna create opportunities for him. So that's how you become a first generation millionaire. You know, you probably see me say this on Instagram. If you watch my Instagrams, I always say, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang around millionaires. So how do you hang around millionaires? You join their clubs. Like he joined my club. He said, hey, I'll pay $100 a month so that I can learn from you and you're going to teach me. You know, I know that you care and you're really good at what you do, so I'm going to join your club. That's how you start hanging around millionaires. You could also donate time by going and working at some charities and developing some relationships with millionaires, but you might not get as much time and personal time from them. So the best way to hang around some millionaires to get millionaire advice is to go do what you did here. Join Ask a Millionaire. Join companies like Accelerators Organization. Okay? Hope that helps, Jobin. Thanks, man. Okay, next question comes from Emmanuel. And Emmanuel says, how can I get an investor for my business? Background is, hello, I'm from Tanzania, engaged in agribusiness, dealing with poultry farming for eggs production and dairy farming. Also, now I have opportunities to expand in pig farming. I have an opportunity to expand my business, but the issue is capital. In our country, there's very little knowledge about fundraising or the so-called angel investors. So I'm asking if you may connect me with your inner circle millionaires who are willing to invest in agribusiness. Awesome. Thanks, Emmanuel. Okay. First off, myself, there's going to be 0 person on the face of the planet that is going to introduce you to their millionaire friends without even knowing you. Just isn't going to happen. So don't even ask. So no, I'm not going to introduce you to anybody I know that would want to invest in your business halfway across the world. 0 chance. Now, let me explain to you some of the reasoning around the challenges that you're going to have and maybe some ideas that you could do. So let's talk about some ideas first. So the ideas, if you're looking for investors in Tanzania, I would do a Google search and I would search for angel investor groups. They're called angel investor groups. And if you type in angel investor groups, Africa, I mean, shoot, I can't do it right now because I'm not on my computer. I was going to do it on my phone, but I'm actually talking into my phone. I would search angel investor groups, Africa. Or private equity groups, Africa. Venture capital groups, Africa. Okay? See what comes up. I'm going to venture to say that there are some investor groups in Africa. And I want to start with Africa because that might pull up some companies that may not be in Africa, but they invest in Africa, even though they're located somewhere else, but in their Google search engine optimization rules, they might show up in the results. I would start sending an email to every single angel investor group. So every angel investor group, professional organization, has a process in which you can submit and do a submission for your company. You're going to need a pitch deck, like an elevator pitch deck, and a business plan. If you don't have those, you got to get those first. Now, if you've never done that before, there's a software that you can use called LivePlan, L-I-V-E, plan.com. And it's a business planning software template that you can use to fill out your business plan. You can also hire people to help you put together a business plan, but that can get up to $10,000, $15,000 easily for someone to help you put together a business plan. But you're going to need a business plan. If you're going to pitch to investors, you're going to have a business plan, and you're going to have a what's called a pitch deck. So go Google both of those things, and you're going to need those. And if you don't know how to do those, you can hire somebody. I have a guy that I could introduce you to that he helps people put together pitch decks and business plans, but you're probably talking $10,000, $15,000 United States. So if you don't have that money, then I can't introduce you. But if you do, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to put you in touch with him. Now, here is a reason why a lot of individual investors like myself would never do this type of investment. First off, we don't know you, so I'm not going to invest in me and any other investor. We're not going to invest in somebody we don't know. And if somebody isn't professional enough or knowledgeable enough to know to not ask me to invest, but just comes right out and says, would you invest, or would you consider investing, or would you introduce me? That tells me that this person has zero clue about the investing world, and I would run faster than Usain Bolt away from that person, because they don't even know what they're doing. They're not investable. They wouldn't even really know what to show me. And there's plenty of other professional ways to do that. And so that would be a big red flag. I'd want to stay away from someone who approached me this way. The next thing is I live in the United States. If I invest, even if I follow all of the legal ways, corporations in Tanzania, all these things, if I invest $100,000 in this Tanzanian corporation, of which I am a shareholder in this corporation, and you just fucking take my money, what am I going to do about it? Who am I going to sue? How am I, a U.S. citizen, going to just drop right into Tanzania and go get my money from you? Like, sue you? What am I going to do? Nothing. So very, very rarely would anybody invest from one country to another country unless they have significant ties to that country, relationships within that country. I mean, there's so much that would have to happen for someone to invest in another country that's all the way across the world, especially one like Tanzania, and what have you. So the best bet that you're going to have of finding investors is somebody that's in Tanzania, who recognizes the value of the property that you have, the ideas that you have. They invest in Tanzanian businesses. That's going to be your best bet. Finding somebody on Instagram or social media, or even just a cold call email, the odds of that are going to be very unlikely. But if you're going to find them, start with Google and start with a business plan and a pitch deck and start submitting that to all the different angel investor groups out there. And who knows, somebody might bite. But you got to have a full business plan ready and an elevator and a pitch deck ready. Okay? All right, I hope that helps. Is that the last question? No. We have two more questions. The next question comes from Shah. And Shah says, how do I know if my idea to teach and train restaurants or hotels on how to veganize their already existing recipes and or add some new ones in their existing menu is going to work? And how to reach out to my first few clients? How do I find an estimate of number of people who wish to eat only vegan and or non-refined food outside here in India? What kind of license I may need as I don't any, if any, similar business even exists to reach out to. Okay, the background is I have discovered many ways to make food refined, food-free, and vegan. Both of these are two different things. One, eating food which is healthy, refined, food-free, doesn't have processed ingredients like refined flour, oil, chemicals. And two, vegan, food which can be refined but doesn't contain any sorts of dairy at all. These people are the ones who are compassionate towards animals. The population of people for both of these are increasing here in India, but restaurants really don't have options for both of these unless we ask to customize. The concept of being and eating only vegan is really popular in many countries, and I believe it will boom soon in India too. How do I know if this is right time for this idea and I'll get clients? About me, I'm a 25-year-old who cured her irritable bowel syndrome through vegan and whole food, plant-based food. I see community of people around me like this who struggle to eat out as much unless it's a metro city like Mumbai or Delhi. I am also doing nutrition course that apart, I learned many ways to veganize or make food healthy and absolutely delicious in this journey. Awaiting your response desperately, and I would also like post the video on your YouTube after some 8 months. I don't wish anybody to know about it, not because anybody would copy, but I believe the number of people know about the idea, the more energies come in between. Also, thank you so much in advance. Okay, I don't understand that last part, but okay. So the idea around vegan food, vegan recipes, and all that type of stuff, I don't know about India because I don't live in India, obviously, but here in America and other countries, it's already out there. I could go on to Instagram right now and search for vegan recipes and find, I'll bet, millions of accounts. And I'll bet you I could find hundreds of thousands of different recipes, even Indian recipes. So what you're trying to do already exists. And now what you want to do is you want to try to find a way to turn your idea into some sort of business. You initially started out that you wanted to contact restaurants or hotels to help them get vegan recipes on the books. Now, I don't know if that's a need, but you know how I would find out? I would literally put together a cookbook of hundreds of recipes that I know are fantastic, okay? That are fantastic. I would know the ingredients. I would know how to make it, everything, right? And I would call and contact restaurants and hotels and call to speak to their food and beverage manager or their chef. And I would say, hey, my name is Shawn. I am a high-level vegan chef, and I have put together hundreds of amazing recipes, and I would like to see if I could come by and provide any type of consulting or coaching in help preparing additional recipes that you could serve, and I charge a fee to help restaurants and hotels do that. And I was wondering if I could come by and meet with you. Now, first off, a chef might go, well, who the fuck are you? Like, I am a chef. I know how to cook vegan. Or they might go, yes, we don't have a chef who understands vegan. Yes, we want to meet with you. So you got to understand, you might already be pissing somebody off because they're like, I'm already a chef. Why do I need you to help me? But I won't know that, Shaw. I don't know that until I actually call the different restaurants and hotels. So it's that easy. Go on to Google, find their contact information, call the hotel, and go out there and start talking with restaurants and hotels. That's the only way you're going to know if there is a demand or a need for your type of services at restaurants and hotels. Okay? And then you'll have to figure out how much you're going to charge them. Will you charge them per recipe, per hour, whatever it might be, to coach them, to train them how to actually make everything? So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to charge, but you won't know if there's a demand or need unless you pick up the phone and go meet with all those people. So that's what I would do. This is called kind of what we call the proof of concept phase of our business. You are in the proof of concept phase. You know that you have great recipes. You know hopefully you know they taste good and that people enjoy them. You know that in general there's people out there that want this healthy alternative food on the menus, and now you want to find out why restaurants aren't doing it, why hotels aren't doing it, and will they? The only way to find out is to call them and ask. Get on the phone, get out there and start talking with as many restaurants and hotels as you can, all right? Keep me posted. Okay, the last question comes from Jesus, and Jesus says, how can you help me launch a new product? The background is I have a product I've designed myself and already have the first small batch for test and need some advice. And what steps should I follow next? My plan is to start a crowdfunding campaign to test the market and from there a larger production. I have never done crowdfunding before, and I've been told a few times that's what I should do to test feedback on new products. I also created a story for the product, which includes good content to use in the marketing and plan to use it on crowdfunding too. Okay, so Jesus, I actually think that you're probably even premature for crowdfunding. Usually we want to try crowdfunding when we've already created a kind of a prototype and we've tested the idea in some sort of what's called a market research group and let people give us feedback and then we modify And then once we have what we think is a minimum viable product, we then would put together all of the glitz and glam and marketing and video and graphics and program for crowdfunding. My advice to you is, if you already have a first small batch of your product, is to go out there and talk with complete strangers. So here in the US, I don't know what kind of product it is, but I'll just use this as an example. Here in the US, we have, all over the United States, we have these things called farmers markets. And at farmers markets, people like yourself would buy a booth space, and people, all kinds of people, every single day, every single week, come to these food markets, lots of foot traffic, and they just look at all the different booths, and people just walk up to the booth and say, "Hey, Jesus, what is this? Explain this to me." And then you get to explain it and get feedback, and you'll know whether people like it or not by what? Whether they buy it. If people are buying your product hands over fist, just buying all of them, and you sell out, then you know you got a good idea, And so that's what I would do. I would try to find out where in your local community could you set up a booth or a kiosk or something that has good foot traffic for you to put your product in front of people and start getting feedback and getting orders. The market is going to tell you whether or not they think it's a good idea. We can think something's a great idea. The only person that matters is whether or not somebody is going to fork over some money to buy it. That's what I would recommend. So get out there, figure out where there's a potential of foot traffic, of types of people that would be interested in your product, and get out there and get it in front of them. That's what I would do. All right. Simultaneously, you might use social media in the same way I do it. So if you put together a product, then you recognize the demand in the marketplace. You're probably expert at what it is and why it works and why it's good for somebody. You could be doing live streams on Instagram. You could create a YouTube channel around that particular topic. The bigger the idea, the bigger the audience, the bigger eyeball viewers you might get. So you could be using social media right now to at least start getting some feedback, doing product demonstrations. You could even just tell people, you don't even need a website, dude. Just say, "Hey, if you're interested in buying it, it's this much. Send me a direct message and I'll contact you. I'll call and get your information of where to ship it. You can PayPal me, you can Venmo me, whatever it might be." You don't even need a professional website yet. Right now, you're just proving out the concept that people might buy it. All right? Okay, that is everybody's questions today. I hope anybody who's watching this on the replay, Jaron, I hope you're having a great day. Anybody who's watching this, if you want to submit some questions, just go into the Ask a Millionaire portal. You can find the Ask a Millionaire portal if you're going to register for one. Go to my Instagram account. It's Ask a Millionaire on Instagram. Click the link in my bio, register for a free account, or any one of the resources that is in the link in my bio. Register for a free account and follow the steps, and you'll be able to submit a question just like everybody else did today. After I get done with this video, my assistant is going to download it from Facebook, upload it to YouTube, where most people are going to watch this, and then she's going to email each person that asked a question. She's going to email them with a link directly to where I'm answering their question. So really amazing service. Love doing this. Hope you guys got something out of this. And I would be remiss in my duties of saying that if you are a small business owner and you're trying to grow your business and you like what you see here, imagine having access to 25 Shawns. All people who have built are actually running 7- and 8-figure businesses today that you could learn from in the same type of way. We charge $100 a month for our business mentorship group. It's Accelerators Organization. It's acceleratoorg.com. On my Instagram account, Ask a Millionaire, there's a link directly to it. We hope that you'll consider that as well. All right? Hope you have a great day, morning or night, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you on the next mentor session with Shawn. Peace out.